What I want to show you in this video is how we can use multi-touch in the real estate business. So we've now loaded all our content and we're going to give users the opportunity to view that content through two different applications within the suite. So the first is that we can go and view brochures. And now they're going to be loading, and so as you can see they've come up here. Now we've got them in some categories here. Sale and rental are the two categories. So let's just now press on that one there. And so now you can see that they've come up and we can now start scrolling through them. We can select this one as we have, and as you can see 13 pages. Now we can just go through each of those pages. Now the print's purposely designed to be able to allow everything to be seen on this size. Obviously the print's very small, but this is really just to give you an idea of which particular brochures you might want to be selecting rather than studying them in a lot of detail. Of course you can zoom it up if you wanted to, but the window is now going to crop it. Let's just cancel out of that one. But let's say that you're very interested in one of these properties, and I think this one here with the nice frontage, right? And it's come up, and now we just check there. Now we can decide, do we want to have it emailed to us? Do we want to have a printed copy right at this moment? Or do we want to save it onto a USB memory stick on this one here? Let's say that we want to have it emailed to us. We'd fill out the details there. That gets recorded into the database and now can be sent to you. So no more having to print multiple copies of brochures. And so you can load up a number of these, as you can see here. Let's just go back out of that again. Now in this sequence here we're now in Google Maps. Everything's loaded and you can see that we've got these markers on Google Maps. Now this is actually coming straight off the internet now, this version of Google Maps, so it's exactly what everyone else is seeing around the world, except these markers actually aren't in Google Maps. They're actually sitting within the content infrastructure of the software program. Now you notice red and green. The green ones means that this has already been opened just before we started recording, so we were having a look at some of these as well. And so it's giving you an indication of which ones you might have already been viewing, because obviously in a map of this nature you might have hundreds of markers, and of course it can become confusing which ones you've seen or not. So we've now just zoomed in a little bit closer so we can get a better view of the city. And so now what we can do is click on this one, brings up this icon, now drops across to this area here. We've got 16 pages of this brochure, and we can just flick through. We can actually zoom this up if we wanted to, but we are constrained by the viewing window. Cancel back out again, cancel back down again, and now you can see that we've actually viewed all of those. And did we have any others? I think we need to zoom it in a little bit. Here we've got some over here. Now, if your area was a mix, for example, of residential, commercial, lease and sale, you could then have those allocated in the other part of the program where we had requesters. So people who are obviously looking for properties to buy really aren't interested in properties that are for rent. And so you can categorize them there, and you can see that this brochure is opening up within this window here. Close it down again, close it down again, and you can see, definitely get a good view of the environment. And obviously if you're familiar with the city, you'll know where this is and the area around it. But the beauty is that it overlays the property information on Google Maps, and it really helps to give you a perspective of maybe a number of properties that could be for sale, rent, lease, or whatever the situation might be. And you can see that in this area, just in here by the roundabout, we have 3 properties that have been listed. And you can see it's just on the side of the rural bush area here. And now this is one of the advantages of how location-based services, products, companies can actually be located on Google Maps, and it just doesn't need to be within one country. It could be globally, for example. And so this is a really neat way, I believe, of being able to do this. Now, the other part I want to actually just show you is out of this particular program, and we're going to go and show you how you can actually use some of the other features now. Here we're going to show you how you can make a photograph completely interactive and as a platform to enable people to drill down for more information. So you can see this is a photograph, and as you can see it's a relatively large photograph, so we can move it around a little bit. Now what we're able to see, you can see this marker here. We can touch on this marker and it brings up another set of information. Touch on that and now we have this additional image that we can actually, as you can see, move it around, make it smaller, explore it, bring up another one, and like so. And this is the power of this. So we can use standard content that you might already have and actually put it into this type of environment where you can now start to explore content.